know you. I know you. I know you though. I know you
Ain't no
though.
mystery, man.
I know you though. I know you though.
I spoke to my son. Think I ain't told my son, his mama, and his grandmamas, his going to prison.
So King Harris's life just spun out of control after Tiny hit T.I. with divorce papers. And this time, she's done for real. The crazy part? T.I. ain't even trying to fight it or fix anything. Their family drama has gone from bad to explosive, with everybody pointing fingers and blaming each other like it's a battle zone. The tension between them is wild. Tiny feels like she's been holding the family down for years, while T.I. is acting cold, almost like he's done with everything, including his own son. People close to the family are whispering that T.I. disowned King after that reckless arrest, and now everyone's asking the same question: who's really at fault here? The parents who gave him the world, or King, who threw it all away just to chase that fake street life? To fans, Tiny and T.I. breaking up might sound shocking, but those cracks had been showing for a long time. They've been together for decades, through public scandals, reality shows, and rumors. But after King's meltdown, everything just crumbled. The final straw came back in October 2024, when King's wild arrest threw the whole Harris family under the spotlight again. King had been speeding out of a gas station in his flashy BMW, driving like he owned the streets, when he almost slammed right into a cop car. What a disaster!
I need you to step out the vehicle.
What you want to do? You want to take my gun off my head?
Yes, sir.
There's one in the head.
Does your buddy have one as well?
There's guns right here.
All right, just hang tight right here for me. Let me clear this. I don't want any accidental fires.
There's no safety. You got to take.
There's no safety.
Just take
Okay.
the clip out.
Well, I'm not going to mess around with that too much. Let me just set this down right here. Dude, step
Can I
out
get
for
out
me.
now?
Yes, sir. Place your hands behind your back for me. All right, right now you're just being detained. You're not under arrest.
Are you straight?
Where's your final at? I'm going to be at the church. All right, I appreciate you being cool, man. We're just going to take a look at this information, make sure it's valid.
I ain't tripping this.
Just take a step to the side for me.
The timing couldn't have been worse, because once those officers walked up to his window, they caught that strong smell of weed coming out of the car, and that's when everything went downhill fast. Then the cops spotted something that made everything 10 times worse: a gun tucked right into King's waistband. The second they saw that, it was game over. They took the weapon, slapped the cuffs on him, and ran his name through the system, and that's when things really exploded. Turns out, King had an active warrant from way back in 2022 for speeding, driving on a suspended license, and even a DUI. What a mess! He could have walked away with just a warning if he had kept his cool. But nope. Every bad decision from his past came crashing down like a wave. Once that arrest footage hit the internet, social media went up in flames. People dragged him nonstop, turning his downfall into trending entertainment. But here's the twist. When you actually watch that 30-minute arrest video, King looks like a completely different person. You can see the regret written all over his face. It's like he suddenly realized, right there in that moment, that he'd finally crossed a line he couldn't come back from. For someone who's always loud and reckless online, watching him stay calm and collected shocked everyone. Even the arresting officer looked surprised at how composed he stayed through the whole thing. But don't get it twisted. His calm attitude didn't save him. King still got hauled off to DeKalb County Jail before being transferred to Pickens County once that old warrant got cleared. And when that clip went viral, the internet didn't go easy. Fans, trolls, and bloggers tore into him like sharks smelling blood. One person jumped straight into the comments calling King a trust fund prison punk, and that line went viral instantly. People couldn't stop laughing at how brutal it sounded. Another user clowned him even harder, saying, "He acts like he's from the trenches but still thinks daddy's money can save him." The internet was ruthless, no mercy at all. But what most people didn't realize was that King wasn't the only one taking the hit. The fallout slammed right into his parents too, tearing up what little peace they had left. Those small cracks in T.I. and Tiny's marriage, yeah, that turned into a full-on explosion. I tried to play the role of the heartbroken father in public, but Tiny wasn't buying it for a second. She was heated, like done. And she came with receipts in her divorce papers, straight up naming King's downward spiral as the final straw that broke their marriage.
Hitting me and giving me my comments, telling me what to tell King, okay? I know my son. Think I ain't spoke to my son? Think I ain't told my son, his mama, and his grandmamas, his ass going to prison. If you got to keep that shit up, his ass going to prison. Ain't no way around it. Ain't nothing I'm gonna be able to do about it. Can't nobody stop it but him. You know what I mean? I've already had that conversation. I've already made my peace with it. Because I know that energy. I was that energy. I know exactly how it's gonna turn out.
That move shocked fans. But what really stunned people was how T.I. didn't even fight back. He didn't beg, didn't plead, nothing. He basically said he'd done all he could as a father and that King had to deal with the consequences himself. It sounded cold, but honestly, it wasn't a lie. Back in 2022, when King first started going viral for his reckless antics, T.I. went online and publicly begged his son to chill out. He warned that the road King was on would only end in two ways, behind bars or worse. He even said he'd been warning Tiny and King's grandma to keep a close eye on him before it was too late. And this wasn't just empty talk from T.I. He'd been there. He knew what it felt like to lose freedom and face humiliation. He was speaking as a man who had lived that life, paid the price, and didn't want his son walking the same path. But King didn't listen. And now, the whole family's paying for it. But Tiny wasn't buying T.I.'s "I did my part" story at all. In fact, it gave her even more ammo in the divorce battle. She claimed T.I. failed big time as a father, and that if he had been more present, firm, and involved, King wouldn't have drifted so far off track, and honestly, a lot of people agreed with her. See, Tiny had a point. T.I. was in and out of prison around the same time she found out she was pregnant with King. By the time he was really free, King had already learned how to grow up without his dad around. And when T.I. finally came home, he didn't exactly step into that full-time father role either. Word is, he allegedly shipped King off to live with his grandmother, which says a lot. King himself once opened up about that life, saying that even though his parents had money, he didn't grow up feeling rich because he stayed at his grandma's place most of the time. The only times he'd visit his parents' big house were when the cameras were rolling for their reality show. Imagine that, only being invited home when the lights and cameras were on. That kind of childhood can mess with anybody's head. So it's no surprise that King started looking for attention and validation outside the home. With every reckless stunt he pulled, he seemed to be screaming for someone to notice him, and it only brought him closer to trouble.
Talking to me, this ain't your restaurant. This ain't your restaurant. Everything you make, I can pull out my pocket right now. I ain't tripping on you. I ain't tripping. Get the hell out of my face. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. Who the hell is he? What's your name? My name King, you know it, and your mama know it. Tell your mama Happy Mother's Day. Tell your mama Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. That file show. What? On game what? On game what? Come here. I'll show you what I do. Come here, I'll show you what I do. Come here.
One of the clearest signs of how wild things had gotten was that infamous Waffle House meltdown in 2022. It all started over something so small. One of the workers accidentally added pickles to his order when he hadn't asked for any. That tiny mistake was all it took for King to explode. He went off on the employee, yelling and arguing while recording the whole thing on his phone like it was some kind of flex. But when he posted it online, it backfired hard. Instead of looking tough, the video made him look like a spoiled kid who couldn't handle being told no. Fans started calling him out left and right, and people began questioning how T.I. could let his son act like that with no consequences. So when T.I. went online and dropped that video warning King about his behavior, Tiny lost it. She felt like that speech was years too late. In her eyes, all that fatherly advice should have been happening when King was still a kid, not now that he was already wilding out in public. That move didn't sit right with her at all. It just added more fuel to their already messy situation. Things cooled off for a bit after that. But T.I.'s disappointment in King never really faded. It was only a matter of time before all that tension boiled over. And it finally did in the most public way possible. During an Atlanta Falcons game, King and T.I. got into a heated argument that spiraled completely out of control, right there in front of everybody. The whole thing started when King said something slick about how he didn't grow up with privilege. That line hit a nerve. T.I. snapped back, reminding him that he literally did grow up with everything. A silver spoon, fame, luxury, and access most people could only dream of.
To make him look better, he said he know not true. Silver spoon, I ain't never ate with that day a day in my life.
Nigga, you did have a silver spoon.
Look, Tip used to have to come to my grandma's house because I'm getting in the
You
fight.
cried like a baby to go to your grandmama's house.
Every day.
You used to hold your breath.
Every
It's
day.
so
I know, I know you capping. I know you. I know you. I know you.
Shut up. Shut up.
I know you
Ain't no
though.
mystery about here.
I know you though.
Man,
I know
get
you
your
know.
fat ass.
I know. I know you though. I know you. What's wrong with y'all? Why y'all doing that to me? Y'all know me. You know I stand on business.
But King wasn't trying to hear it. Next thing you know, hands were flying. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing in the viral clip. It wasn't just a shouting match. It looked like a real brawl between father and son. T.I. looked so heated, it was like he forgot this was his kid, ready to square up for real. The internet went wild once that footage hit social media. Within hours, the video had thousands of likes, reposts, and heated debates. Some people actually praised T.I., saying King needed that wake-up call a long time ago. One comment even said, he should have been checked years back. If you don't handle your kid early, they'll turn on you later. The clip turned into a whole conversation about parenting, privilege, and discipline. Just another chapter in the Harris family chaos. People online started saying, King's out of control, pray for that family. But inside the Harris household, things were way worse than anyone imagined. Tiny was furious about that fight. She hated that T.I. embarrassed their son like that in public. So when she got home and found out that T.I. had kicked King out of the house to learn how to survive on his own, that was the final straw. She felt he went too far, and that decision cracked their relationship beyond repair. It was the push that made her finally say enough. Tiny didn't just blame King for all the chaos, she blamed T.I. too. In those divorce papers, she came with heavy accusations. Years of cheating, controlling behavior, and a violent temper she said she'd endured for way too long. For years, she had watched him step out on their marriage and then come back acting like he was a changed man. But those lies piled up. By the time King started spiraling into his own mess, Tiny wasn't just mad at her son. She was looking straight at the man who raised him and realizing the pattern had never been broken. That's why she finally walked away. What really shattered her heart was seeing that King wasn't carving his own identity. He was following in his dad's footsteps, crash for crash. The same jail stints and tough guy image that once made T.I. famous were now shaping King's self-destruction. It's like he was chasing his father's legacy in all the worst ways. So when T.I. turned around and disowned King after that arrest, Tiny completely lost it. In her eyes, he wasn't just rejecting his son. He was rejecting a reflection of himself. That's when those divorce papers hit the table hard, and this time, she wasn't bluffing. And you can see just how desperate King is for his father's approval, always flexing weapons on social media, always trying to act harder than he really is. After that arrest video went viral, people online even started saying that King might have wanted to get locked up just to earn that fake street credibility and finally prove something to his dad. It's sad, but it's starting to look like King's pain turned into his only form of pride. Some people online actually started saying King had finally proven himself as a real one, claiming he'd earned that rugged image he'd been chasing for years.
Those motherfucking 12 pull up and they say, hey, who do you belong to? Who raised their hand? Somebody got to raise their hand.
I've been seeing him around too here a lot.
You gonna raise your own hand?
I've been seeing him around too much, man.
Huh?
But when you got drugs, it ain't lame.
I know. Y'all got drugs around those legal guns. That called
It's not legal.
possession of a firearm and commission of a crime, sir. That is a felony.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Others weren't so sure. They believed all his wild behavior was just a desperate cry for attention, especially from his dad. And honestly, that theory started to make a lot of sense. Because right after the arrest, King pulled another stunt that had T.Y. and Boozy both stepping in like furious parents on camera. King and Boozy's son, Tootie Raw, were shooting a music video, but instead of focusing on the music, they started flexing their weapons like they were in some trap house movie scene. That's when the father stepped in real quick. You could hear the anger and disappointment in T.I.'s voice as he confronted King right there on camera, asking, "Why are you trying to act so tough when there are women around?" He didn't hold back at all. It turned into a full-on lecture. I warned them that one bad move with those weapons or getting caught with something illegal could ruin their lives in seconds. He and Boozy both looked dead serious. There was no joking in that moment. It was like watching two fathers who had already lived that life trying to stop their sons from walking straight into the same trap. On the outside, it looked like T.I. was doing the right thing, finally stepping up and showing some tough love, trying to teach his son what real consequences look like. But behind the scenes, that moment caused another wave of drama at home. When Tiny found out what had happened, she wasn't proud. She was furious. She felt, T.I. shouldn't have blasted their son's behavior for the world to see. It wasn't that she was okay with King showing off weapons or acting reckless. It's that she didn't want their family issues becoming viral content again.
I became a father, so I got 2 grandchildren now.
Wow, congrats.
Yeah, I got 2 granddaughters. I got a grandson on the way.
Wow.
King's about to have a son.
King's about to have a son. Congrats.
Yeah. And I told him I'm gonna make this the greatest gangster of all times. I will raise this child to torture you the way you tortured me. I promise you, there will be an indictment in this young one.
Tiny thought T.I. cared more about saving face in public than protecting their son's image, and that tension only made their already broken marriage even worse. Tiny felt like T.I. was way too late trying to play Father of the Year now because everything King was doing. He had learned from watching his dad. She'd been saying it for years, and now it was all playing out right in front of the world. But what really made her snap wasn't another fight or argument. It was the baby mama drama. When T.I. went on a podcast and casually announced that he was about to become a grandfather again because King was having a baby, Tiny nearly lost it. To her, it sounded like he was celebrating the situation, like he was proud of King's messy choices instead of guiding him differently. And the situation wasn't simple at all. Rumors started flying fast about King's baby mama, Big Nana. Word on the street was that she was much older than King, and some people even claimed she might have seen him as an easy target for money and fame. But King, he didn't care about the talk, not even a little bit. He was out here glowing, posting nonstop, talking about becoming a father like it was the best thing that ever happened to him.
He hit me up like, King, I know you tired, you ain't getting no sleep, and the truth be told, before this little I ain't been getting no sleep, you know what I'm saying? I just been outside working, lifestyle, lifestyle just lifing, you know what I'm saying? And, but now I'm damn sure not getting no sleep. This up every morning, and then around the morning time, he like to do that little live concert I be doing with him. And, he like to walk around the house. So.
Then in November 2024, when his baby boy was finally born, King was on cloud 9. He named him King Jr., and he couldn't stop showing him off online. He even dropped a song called Dear Son, rapping about stepping up and being the kind of father he never had. In one post, he proudly captioned, November 5th, 8:09 a.m., welcome King Jr., time to take over. For a moment, it really looked like fatherhood had changed him. King seemed calmer, more focused, and more grown than ever before. Even Tiny had started to believe that maybe, just maybe, This new chapter could fix what fame, pressure, and chaos had broken. But deep down, she was still scared that history might repeat itself. And sadly, she wasn't wrong. The most heartwarming part for Tiny was finally seeing King step up as a dad, doing everything she once wished T.I. had done for him. It gave her hope that maybe the cycle was breaking, that her son was finally learning what real responsibility looked like. But just when it seemed like things were turning around, life threw another curveball. While King was online posting pictures of his newborn and playing proud father, that old arrest video started resurfacing again, and it spread like wildfire. Suddenly, all that positivity got drowned out by the noise of his past mistakes. T.I. tried to show support, at least on the surface, but deep down, he couldn't hide his disappointment. That shame came through loud and clear, and for Tiny, that was unforgivable. She could have looked past the cheating, the arguments, even the fame drama. But watching T.I. distance himself from their own son like he was a stranger, that broke her completely. She'd stood by him through everything: scandals, court cases, and public humiliation. But this time, she couldn't do it anymore. When those divorce papers hit the table, it wasn't a surprise to anyone who'd been paying attention. It was just the final nail in a marriage that had been splitting at the seams for years. Now Tiny's done, really done. She's no longer covering, no longer defending, no longer pretending that everything's fine for the cameras. The only question left is, what's T.I. gonna do next? Because if he keeps staying silent, just like he did with King, the Harris legacy might already be over before anyone even realizes it. What do you think about all this drama between T.I., Tiny, and King? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real stories just like this one. See you on the next one.